She had grease in her veins and soot in her lungs, and every time her boots hit the deck of the maintenance yards back on Earth, the ground seemed to pulse with the rhythm of engines, half alive, half dying, and all begging for her hands. Her name was Jessa, and no one remembered her last name because by 18 she had overhauled the dying turbines of refugee freighters, stitched reactor vanes in airless vaults, and once rewired a fusion heart mid-fire just to keep a crew from freezing in the edge of Saturn's reach. The men at the yards laughed at her once, and then they watched their careers rot while she rose through the smog. Jessa had never seen the stars, but she had felt them in the hum of the cores she coaxed back from death. Until one night when a blue light cracked open the workshop wall, and a voice not born of Earth asked if she was the one who healed dead gods of power. The aliens were tall and quiet and clothed in folds of material that shimmered like oil on water. They said they came not in conquest, not in peace, but in desperate hope. A world circled a dying moon, and inside that moon was a machine, built before their memory forged when their ancestors still walked in skin and flesh. It powered their tides, their agriculture, their weather. It pulsed through every vein of their planet. And it had failed. No being of their own kind could revive it, because its builders were long turned to stars and their language was lost. But the machine still responded to signals that echoed something born of Earth's crude and chaotic engine work. They showed her the recordings of its last pulses, and the resonance bore uncanny echoes to the combustion system she knew, like blood. They said no one else could even try. She said no, but they said nothing. They only turned their ship toward the stars and waited for her to follow. The moon was not round, it was a fractured relic, held together by magnetic veins and plated scars like tectonic armor. Beneath its surface was a chasm of darkness so deep her breath tasted like forgotten time. They gave her a suit that filtered the air and translated the walls and carried her heartbeat like a drum. The machine was buried under layers of glassy stone and organic metal, and it hummed when she touched it with gloved fingers, like it recognized her. The others stood back. They watched her walk into the husk of a chamber bigger than cities, its domes filled with silent wheels, its floors littered with alien bones. She saw valves like lungs, gears like nerves, pipes curled like sleeping serpents. She whispered to it as she opened panels and reached into its chest. And it whispered back in pulses, in rhythm, in heat. She did not sleep. She soldered and tuned and recalibrated what she barely understood. She improvised with copper coils from her own tool pack, with hydrogen breath from the coolant vents, with pieces of her suit. When the alien circuits cracked, the machine spoke in lights and heat, and once, when it pulsed too fast, she caught a flash of something not just mechanical, but aware. It had stored memories, not just code. She saw pieces of alien cities blooming with light, children running under a blue-green sky, storms broken by a hum that sang through the soil. It had loved the world it powered, and when it failed, it grieved. Jessa sat there with one hand on its heart and said, "I will bring you back if you let me." And it opened. The ignition sequence began not with a roar, but with a low note that shook her bones. Pressure built in unseen chambers. Tide generators uncoiled like limbs waking from stone sleep. She rerouted failsafes. She reversed feedback flows. She bypassed ancient locks that had not turned in millennia. And when the main pulse chamber charged, she stood there breathless as artificial gravity warped around her. The power core lit up in colors no human eye was meant to see. One by one, the systems throbbed to life. The aliens fell to their knees outside the control vault when the first tide hit their homeworld's shore again. She collapsed beside the machine, and it hummed softly like a purr. Like thanks. They wanted to crown her, to etch her name into skyglass, and offer her places in councils and memory orbs and legends. But she said no. She asked for scrap, for wire, for old machines no longer used. They gave her a workshop near the moon's surface, where broken things came from every corner of the system. They called her the Rebuilder, the Whisperer, the Daughter of the Core. She never went back to Earth, because Earth had taught her machines were loud and crude and temporary. But this moon had shown her that machines could be more than alive. They could feel, they could wait. And if you listened close enough, even the dead ones might ask for one more chance to wake up.